Let's look at the big one. Project 6 recommendation report. Project 3, you wrote a proposal for this. Project 4, you evaluated the solution that another company actually implemented or something that they did in response to a problem. Project 5 was the annotated bibliography, where you wrote about different sources that are going to help you with the recommendation report. And now we come to that project where many of the other assignments were leading. So what is this assignment? What is the big picture here? Big picture is that, one, you've chosen a real company or organization. Two, you've identified a problem within that organization. Three, you've identified a solution to that problem. Four, you've identified the audience to which you will try, or to whom you will try to persuade of your recommended proposal. Now, basically, the purpose for your recommendation report is to persuade that audience to accept your solution, which may also be persuading them to accept that there is a problem. But most of your report will be focusing on really that one task, to say that this is what needs to be done. And you need to find a way in the report to persuade the audience, the person or people who have the authority to implement the change you're suggesting, or or make the decision that you are proposing. So let's briefly go over the format requirements. So it should be more than 8 pages, or at least 8 pages of written content. And that does not include the cover page, table of contents, and the references page. And that should be assumed that the margins remain standard margins and the font size remains 12-point font. You want to use APA style. You want to have at least 6 sources. And I've talked about this a little bit in other places, or really in more detail in other places, like the annotated bibliography, about your sources. But the sources should be what we call kind of high quality sources, and certainly appropriate sources. I would like people to try to use some academic peer-reviewed sources for this project. It's not an out-and-out requirement, but it is something that I would like to see. There are certain situations where possibly that may not be ideal or even possible, but in almost every report that I've seen, it is possible, and I think very beneficial, to try to see what some of the academic research is saying related to your topic, in addition to some of the more focused trade publications for business and things like that. So just a note there. Obviously, polished writing, this is a big project. And it goes through a few drafts with OWL, and you expect that the final draft will be something that is polished, that there will be no errors in spelling, grammar, etc. I think the other pieces I don't even need to read out loud, but we have them here. Third person point of view, I guess, is worth mentioning. This is, this isn't the first person narrative. It is written from the third person. There is a basic setup for the rhetorical arrangement as indicated here, so please do use that. It's really not that detailed in the sense that, okay, yes, a cover page, table of contents, abstract, an introduction, the discussion section, which is really the heart of the paper, right? That is where you're really making your points and even addressing opposition, opposing viewpoints. So this is really the heart of the paper, and we're looking for strong organization within that. And we have the conclusion, and it lists some of the key aspects that we're looking for there, just sort of reiterating things that you probably already said, and then the call to action. And of course, make sure to include your references. And I shouldn't have to say this, but I just will. Make sure you're citing your sources within the text. It's not enough to just put references at the end and assume or have the readers guess what information comes from where. You should be using APA style in-text citations, also called parenthetical citations. The rest of what follows will help you to develop and to brainstorm and focus on the key aspects that I've already discussed or that I've already briefly gone over in this video. But I would just again recommend or really require that you're very clear about those 4 things I mentioned as you start writing this, and don't stray from those things. And those 4 things are the company or organization, the problem within that organization that you're going to address, the solution to that problem, and then a very clear idea of who your audience is. And that will even be articulated within the paper as well as it was in your proposal. But if you have those 4 things clearly set in your mind, it makes it a lot easier to focus your argument. So I strongly suggest that you write those down and really sort of internalize them as you're developing this major assignment for the course.